Hello everybody, I'm Jeff Tremblett, and this is a walkthrough of my composing, streaming, gaming, and work from home setup. My setup is something I've put together over the last 7 years and has really become a refined workstation that fits my workflow like a glove. You'll find that throughout my setup, there are a ton of aspects that are customized, jerry-rigged, to fit my needs exactly in all situations. Let's start with the desk. The desk is probably the most important part of my setup and is the most personalized part as well. This desk is a large one that I got in about 2015 for less than $100 secondhand. And the most important part of this desk is a two-tiered setup, where I can have the main workspace with all my keyboards, my mice, a giant workspace, and then the second tier for my screens and my studio monitors. Another important aspect is the drawers to the side of the desk and the large PC cabinet on the other side. This gives me a lot of flexibility in what I can do and where I can put things. Since I like to do a lot of work with my hands and building things, it's important for me to have tools at the ready, and I like to put these in these drawers. I've also personalized the aesthetics of the desk by wrapping it in a black vinyl that I found on Amazon. This makes it look a lot nicer than the original color of the desk, which was lacking to say the least and uninspiring. The right side of my desk is where I keep my laptop, my switch, a capture card, my two low whistles, and it also has the two drawers where I keep all my tools and such. I also have a lot of knickknacks around my desk, a Turtwig, a Totoro, a couple cats. I just like to vibe up the place, you know? I also have two coasters for holding drinks while I'm recording and working. One of which is a custom-made laser-etched coaster that my dad got me with a photo of my brother and I at a show we played together. Let's talk about peripherals. I have two mice and two keyboards. One of my mice is a Logitech MX Master, which I use for everything outside of gaming, mostly because of its comfort and that large thumb scroll wheel that's just become essential for my workflow. I also have a Logitech G305 mouse, which I use essentially only for gaming and not much else. For keyboards, I have a GK61 60% mechanical keyboard with red switches, and I also have a Logitech Orion G610 with red switches. I use the GK for everything except for Sibelius. When I'm using Sibelius, I want to have that number pad, so I take out the G610, and there we go. For monitors, I have a 27-inch LG as my main monitor and a 21-inch Samsung TV that my parents got for free when they signed up for an internet plan. My monitor setup is a bit unique as I have them stacked vertically and not horizontally. It just fits my workflow and my setup a lot better. And it's also the only way I can set them up since I have my studio monitors to the sides of my main. Speaking of studio monitors, the ones I use are KRK Rocket 5s. They're the first monitors I ever bought. They're budget, but they get the job done. For headphones, I'm using the AKG K240 open back headphones. They're a great budget option and they get a nice soundstage being open back. For MIDI keyboards, I have two different keyboards. I use an M-Audio Keystation Mini 32 key Mark III, very long name, for percussion programming and just quickly putting stuff in. I also have a Complete Control A61 keyboard, which I use for pretty much everything else. Feels a lot nicer. I also have a 3-fader MIDI controller that I built myself using a guided gear sluts, and I use that for expression mapping and particularly in Mantra's sample libraries, since they have a 3-dimensional sound sculpture engine. The mic I use is an Audio-Technica AT2020 on a Neewer mic arm that I got from Amazon. The mic arm is okay. It's showing its wear, and it doesn't look too great. I'll probably upgrade in the future, but it works for now. I also have a Shure SM58 that I used to use a lot, but now that's kind of been retired and I only use it for hiking instruments and the occasional live use, which we all know isn't happening right now. The interface I use is a Focusrite Scarlett 2i2 Gen 3 with a Neewer NW100 Phantom Power Box for my microphone. The reason I use a separate Phantom Power Box is so I can use the second input on the Focusrite for a variety of needs. The lights I use are just 4 Neewer lights from Amazon, 2 of which I have mounted to my desk and the other 2 I use to light my green screen. They work okay, they're not great, but they get the job done. Since I don't own a proper camera, I use my old Samsung Galaxy S8 as a webcam for streaming. I pair that with the software Droidcam. You'll no doubt have noticed the guitars along my walls. I have a total of 7 in this room, starting with my Ibanez Premium RG, my Edwards Horizon 3 I ordered from Japan, my Ert headless guitar which I've heavily modified, my Schecter Jeff Loomis 7-string, my 93 American Fender Strat, my Taylor 110, and a rental Almanza Classic guitar. I also have an Eastman mandolin, but that gets kept in its case and humidified. And now we get to the juiciest part of the setup, the PC. When I was building my PC, I really wanted to make it into a jack-of-all-trades type of system, focused on music production and composition. My priorities when building it were plenty of CPU cores for audio work, as much RAM as I could fit into my budget, and as much storage as I could fit into my budget, while slapping on a good enough graphics card to game and stream in 1080p. The specs ended up being Ryzen 5 3600 CPU, which I chose over the 3600X as it fit better in my budget and I don't plan to overclock it. The Zotac GTX 1070 AMP graphics card, which I bought secondhand a year ago for about $200 Canadian, and I'm glad I did, as people are now selling them for over $500 Canadian. 48 gigabytes of XPG GameX 3200 MHz RAM. I originally had 16 megabytes, but I saw the 32 gig set was on sale for Black Friday, so I picked those up and added those in. I was also starting to max out the 16 gigabytes in my Reaper sessions. For water cooling, I have a Corsair H100i Platinum. I didn't originally have an AIO, but the stock cooler was getting a little noisy, so I picked up an AIO on sale on Black Friday to bring the noise of the system down. For storage, I have a Kingston 480 gig SSD, Hitachi 3TB hard drive, which my brother gave to me, and I use for sample libraries, and 2 Seagate Barracuda 2TB drives for games and media, one of which was sent by accident by Amazon, and there was no way I was sending it back. Power supply is a 500 watt EVGA 80 plus bronze, which I carried over from my previous PC and is still going strong. I originally had a Corsair Spec 5 case, but the airflow on it was really horrible, so I decided to upgrade to the Evelyn-Li LandCool 215, which has fantastic airflow, and most importantly was proven by Gamer's Nexus to have the best noise normalized thermal of 2020. It also looks fantastic. Overall, this PC has been an excellent workhorse for me over the last year on a fantastic budget, and I would recommend something similar to a lot of students out there who are looking to get into a composition PC with some gaming power. I want to thank you all for tuning in and watching this video of my setup, and I invite you to come catch my streams every week on twitch.tv/InjusticeForJuve. I play mostly Hunt Showdown with some music composition and other games every now and then. Alright, have a great one. Hit another one. Killed the one that rezzed a gun.
Nice. Can you pick them, Jeff?
Here.
Assassin's
Killed
on
another
the
one.
way.